And this is a competitive game where each player is going to have their own mothership rotating around a dying sun. And the goal of this game is to send in your smaller ships from your mothership in order to harvest energy from the sun and eventually gain enough that will allow you to launch your mothership into a whole new solar system. Of course, the more that you harvest, the more unstable the sun becomes, and there's only going to be enough time for a single player's ship to escape the dying star. And something that I really like about this game is the way that the actions work. There's 3 different types of actions: move, convert, and activate, and each of them work a little bit differently, and you're only allowed to do each of them in certain situations. The move action allows you to launch any sun divers that you currently have on your ship to a point on the board, and the move action also allows you to fly them around to the different areas of the board that they're able to access. And there is also the option to hurl them into the center of the sun if they're able to get there, and this will come at the cost of the unit, but it will grant you some nice benefits. And if you don't have too much time left, that doesn't sound like a terrible strategy. But my favorite category of actions in this game is the convert actions, and the reason that I like those so much is because you're actually going to be able to build all sorts of different stations out on the main board, but all of these stations are converted from your sun divers. So in order to build each of these stations, each one's going to require you to have sun divers in a particular formation, and whenever you do that, you take your sun divers back and then you put the unit out on the board that you just built. And these different stations can be gates that allow you to send your sun divers deeper towards the core of the sun, or they could be buildings that allow you to harvest energy, transmit that energy to your mothership, or even to build more sun divers. And one thing to note is that when you build a building, you'll be able to draw some cards, and you're going to be drawing more cards the closer your building is to the core of the sun. And you'll be able to spend these cards with different icons in order to activate some of the special ability cards that were drawn at the start of the game. And there are quite a few of these cards, which will make each game play a little bit differently. But within those cards that you're spending in order to activate those abilities, there is also the solar flare card. And anytime that gets drawn, you're going to be moving the instability tracker 1 space forward, and once that gets to the end, the sun explodes, and that triggers the end of the game. So hopefully you're the one that was able to get enough energy in order to escape the solar system, but in order to do that, you're going to be using your sun divers to activate the different stations that you and the other players have built around on the board. And yes, you can use your opponent's stations, but anytime you do that, they're going to get a bonus action, which will allow them to use it as well. And this is going to be important because at the end of your turn, you're going to be moving your mothership 1 space forward, orbiting the sun, which is going to change which portions of the sun that you have easiest access to. And the game continues until the instability track reaches the end, and the player who harvested the most energy wins the game.